Are you confused why you feel so tired in the morning and throughout the entire day? You're trying to make links, you're trying to find patterns. Oh, maybe it's the hours of sleep that I get. But for some reason, certain days where you get a lot of hours of sleep, you still feel more tired than the days where you get less sleep. And it doesn't make sense. And it didn't make sense to me either until I watched a video about sleep inertia. In simple terms, sleep inertia is this horrible feeling you get when you feel like you cannot concentrate, you have low energy, you have no motivation, it's hard for you to think, you get irritated fast, you're more emotional, it's hard for you to make the right decisions. This is sleep inertia. And even though you woke up a long time ago, you still feel tired. It's this weird state between being asleep and being awake. This is what is called sleep inertia. The problem with sleep inertia is that it can last up to hours after you wake up. Now imagine, you're trying to work on your business, you try to perform well at work, or you're a student and you're trying to learn or perform well on your exam. You're trying to do all of those things while having sleep inertia and this negative effects that comes with it. So how do you think it's going to affect your life? The moments where you need to perform at your highest level, you're actually performing at your lowest. Because you cannot focus, you cannot remember, you cannot make the right decisions. Since your brain is not awake, you cannot think. Don't let sleep inertia ruin the most important parts in your life. Now, why does sleep inertia occurs? From the research that I've done, this is the simplest explanation. Your sleep consists of multiple cycles that can last up to 90 to 120 minutes. Each cycle consists of 4 stages. You have stage 1 to 3, which are non-REM sleep, and lastly you have stage 4, which is REM sleep. REM stands for rapid eye movement. What is important to remember for this video is that stage 1, 2, and 3 are the stages where you're completely asleep. And also where stage 3 is the deepest stage of sleep. What I mean by that is it's harder to wake you up from stage 3 than from stage 1. Now, stage 4 is the last stage in your cycle. And when it ends, you either wake up or you start a new cycle. So it's the last stage at the end of the cycle. Now remember, stage 4 is the last stage that should be in your cycle. Sleep inertia occurs when you get wakened from the stage 1, 2, or 3 instead of being wakened from the stage 4 like it should be. Okay, so how do you avoid sleep inertia? Here are the 2 ways that work the best for me, and I'm sure and confident that will work the best for you too. So, we all have been there. The satisfaction you get when you wake up by yourself without any alarm, you look at the clock and you see that you have another hour left before your alarm rings. So you're happy. You say to yourself, oh, I can go back to sleep. This is amazing. So you go back to sleep. After an hour, your alarm rings. It rings, and it rings for 30 minutes, and you still cannot get up. You're in this weird state. It's hard for you to wake up, but finally you wake up, you feel horrible. You woke up 30 minutes after your alarm, and you don't feel good. You feel horrible. Okay, let's discuss what happened there. When you woke up by yourself without any alarm, right before you were in the last stage of the cycle. You were in the stage 4, where your body decided, okay, should I wake him up or should I start a new cycle? In this case, your body decided to wake you up by preparing you for it. It did that by increasing your heart rate, by increasing your temperature, by releasing cortisol, and then you woke up. So you woke up naturally by yourself an hour before your alarm, but then you decide to go back to sleep. An hour passes by and your alarm rings. And now you get woke up when you're in a stage 1, 2, or 3. The stages when you're completely asleep and you shouldn't get woken up. So instead of being woke up when you're in a stage 4, when your body is making preparation for you to wake up and is ready for you to wake up, instead you get woken up from stage 1, 2, or 3, which are not meant for you to wake up from. And this is when sleep inertia occurs. You get woken up at the wrong time. You get woken up in the middle of your cycle. Knowing that, the first advice that I can give you is, remember, a full cycle is minimum 90 minutes. So if you wake up before your alarm and you know that you don't have the minimum time of 90 minutes to complete a full cycle before your alarm rings, do not go to sleep. Do not go to sleep because, again, you don't want to get woken up while you're in a stages 1, 2, or 3rd. So if you see that you're not going to have time to get into the 4th stage, which is the stage where your body prepares you to wake up, then don't go to sleep, because an hour before your alarm is not enough for you to get into the end of your cycle. So don't go to sleep. Make sure you have at least an hour and a half before the alarm rings. I really want to emphasize this. If, for example, you wake up an hour, 30 or 15 minutes before your alarm, do not go back to sleep, because your alarm will ring when you're going to be in those deep stages of sleep. And this is where you will get this sleep inertia and those negative effects of feeling tired, not motivated, you cannot focus, you cannot remember things. You don't want that. So it's better to get a little less hours of sleep, but wake up at the end of the cycle, than having a little more hours of sleep, but get woken up when you're in the middle of a cycle. So now let's use this information to figure out what happens when you use the snooze button. So your alarm rings, you wake up, then you hit snooze, it stops, you fall back asleep, and after 10 minutes, it rings again. What happens here is that you get woken up, but then you decide to close the alarm, you fall back asleep, you get into the first stage of sleep or the second stage of sleep, and then after 10 minutes, boom, you get woken up from the middle of the cycle. Sleep inertia arises. Now, it's the same thing with multiple alarms. You know, when, for example, you have to wake up at 6:30 in the morning and you put an alarm at 6:10, 6:20, 6:30, and look, I used to do this, okay? I know that, yes, you think that it might be good for you because you think that, oh, it's perfect because I'm gonna like gradually wake up with like 10 alarms. But what it does is that the first alarm sounds at 6:10, you close it, you fall back asleep, you go into those deepest stage of sleep, and then in 10 minutes, boom, you have another one. You close it, you get back to sleep in those deep stages, and then boom, another alarm. So you're getting like in and out of deep stages of sleep, and it's not pleasant for you. It's not good for your body. Instead, what you can do is, if you have to wake up at 6:30, just put one alarm at 6:30. And you're going to be more likely to get up right away because you know that there's no other alarms after that. Like, if there's one alarm, you know that if it rings, you have to wake up, because otherwise there's not going to be any other, and you're going to sleep in and miss your bus or be late, right? And the best thing to do is, what I do, and it works really good for me, is I put my phone really far, like across the room, so that when the alarm rings, I have to stand up and close it. And once you stood up, now it's easier to just not go back to sleep. And I put my phone far from my bed for other reasons too, but here we're discussing how it affects your sleep. So yes, if you put your phone further where you have to stand up to close the alarm, it's more likely that you're going to wake up right away and it's going to be better for you. Now, there's a second way that you can use to avoid sleep inertia. So you're doing everything right. As discussed previously, you have one alarm. However, even though you have one alarm, it can still ring when you're going to be in those first, second, or third stage of sleep, and you will get sleep inertia from it. So, as a solution, some people propose that you make some calculations. You look at how many cycles can I have in a night, and they calculate like, okay, 1.5 hour plus 1.5 hour plus another 1.5 hour, and then they see at what time they should wake up. Yes, it might work. However, it's approximate. It's hard to calculate because look, you don't know when you're gonna fall asleep. You don't know if you're gonna maybe wake up during the night. So it's hard to calculate the specific time when you're gonna be in the last stage, the fourth stage in your cycle where you should wake up. So it's hard to really like synchronize the alarm with this fourth stage of the cycle. So what you can do instead is build a sleeping schedule. What I mean by that is go to sleep at the same time and wake up at the same time. And what this will do is, first, it's going to be easier for you to go to sleep because your body prepares you to go to sleep at always the same time. Now, also, it will be easier for you to wake up because your body prepares you to wake up. It will know that, okay, you wake up usually at this time, so it will make the necessary preparation. It will put you in stage 4. It will increase your body temperature. It will have all those chemical reactions to prepare you to wake up, and you will wake up. So if you usually wake up at 7 a.m., your body will not put you in those deep stages of sleep, 1, 2, and 3, at 7 a.m. No, because he knows that, okay, at 7 a.m., usually this guy wakes up. So it will put you in the fourth stage of sleep, where you will all have those processes that will just prepare you to wake up. So your body knows, okay, this guy wakes up at 7 a.m., so I'm going to make sure at 7 a.m. he's in a fourth stage of sleep and he's going to wake up. Now, if you want more information, because there are people that can explain this better than me, just go look on the internet, circadian rhythm and sleeping schedule. And maybe that will make you understand better the scientific reasons why it's so important to go to bed at the same time and wake up at the same time. Now, just to add some extra information, I will give you a personal story and it will just show to you how powerful this is. And basically what happened is at some point I had the habit of waking up at 7 a.m. every single day. And at one day I went to sleep at 4 a.m. for some reasons. And before going to sleep, I put an alarm at 9 a.m. I was like, okay, usually I wake up at 7 a.m., but I'm gonna put an alarm at 9 a.m. to get more sleep, right? And something interesting happened. I went to sleep at 4 a.m. thinking I'm gonna wake up at 9. I went to sleep at 4 a.m. At 6:30 in the morning, I wake up by myself and I'm like, what the hell, right? And I was surprised because I was like, okay, I just got less than 3 hours of sleep, but I woke up just by myself without the alarm. And I was just lying in my bed and I tried to fall back asleep and I couldn't. Like my body made the preparations for me as usually to wake up at 7 a.m. And even though I went to sleep at 4 a.m., it still made the preparation for me to wake up early, close to 7 a.m. So at 6:30 a.m., I was in my bed and I was like, I am energized. Like, I need to wake up. I cannot fall back asleep. So I stood up. I did my usually morning routine. I went meditating. I did a workout. I took a cold shower. I did my homework. I worked on some projects. And I had a really productive morning. And I had energy and everything. But of course, in the afternoon, I had a crash. Of course, because I had like 2.5 hours of sleep. But still, the point is, even though I went to sleep at 4 a.m., because I always woke up at 7, my body made as usual, the preparations for me to wake up, and it gave me, I don't know all the science behind it, but it increased my temperature, it increases my heart rate, it increased my cortisol to make sure that I'm alert at 7 a.m. and I'm ready to get out of my bed and just attack the world. When I say attack, I don't mean like physically, I mean, you know what I mean, right? So, this is something interesting. It will definitely be easier for you to wake up in the morning if you always wake up at the same time. But of course, don't go to sleep at like 2 a.m. and then always wake up at 6 a.m. You still need to get those hours of sleep. It's still important. But once you have those hours, like once you're good at it, you have those 8 hours of sleep. Now try to fix them. Try to fix them. Like, okay, if I want to get 8 hours of sleep, and I recommend even getting better because it takes time for you to wake up. It takes time for you to fall asleep. Sometimes you wake up during the night. So if you want to get 8 hours of sleep, it's better to like have 9 hours or 10 hours just in case. So yeah, you can just plan like, okay, if I want to wake up at, I don't know, 6 a.m., if I want to get 10 hours of sleep, I would go to sleep at 8 p.m. Okay, maybe that's too early. You can go at 9 p.m. Okay. So I hope it was really helpful for you. It generally was helpful for me. It changed and improved dramatically my sleeping schedule and my sleeping habits. So try it yourself and let me know how it goes. Peace out, everyone.